Well, I told you a few days ago on the old socials that this would be a response to comedian Rueben Kaye and the project brouhaha that has occurred. So that is exactly what this is going to be. Welcome to Christianity Out Loud. Welcome to the Weekly Word. My name is Steve. You would also appreciate my shirt. If any of you were paying attention a little while ago, Pink Floyd got amusingly eviscerated by people for having become woke. It was the original album cover. It's the Dark Side of the Moon. It's ridiculous. Anyway, people are just... Anyway, headline from Sky News, and as always, the link will be below. Live television is unpredictable. It took us all by surprise. 10 networks, The Project, forced to apologise for disgusting Jesus joke by queer comedian Rueben Kaye. That was reported across multiple websites, multiple news sources, so there's more than one you can go and check out and read for yourself and make your own mind up. I'll be putting the link to the Sky News article below because that was the first one that came up, so I clicked it. That was repeated on numerous, as I said, so go check it out, have a look at it, read it for yourself. The comedian in question, Rueben Kaye, I've never heard of him. That's neither here nor there. There's a lot of people I haven't heard of. So, is self-described as loud, politically active, queer, and brash. Good for him. Good for you, Rueben. I don't have anywhere near the following you have, but I'm loud, trying very hard to be politically active, Christian, and brash. So there you go. Guess adjectives apply all places. I'm guessing he was booked on the project as a part of Pride Week, Pride Fortnight, Pride Month, Pride Year, whatever it is these days. I don't know. So naturally we've got to have a joke at the expense of these evil Christians. His joke, ye old offending everybody, was this. Just in their conversation, he says, "So I think it's hilarious when someone messages me and says you have to accept Jesus' love or you will burn in hell. Because I love Jesus. I love any man who can get nailed for 3 days straight and come back for more." Right. Now I'll get to all of that in a minute. The first line from the Sky News article, not the headline, the first line here. Network 10's flagship current affairs program was forced to address a gag made on live television by one of its guests, which left the Christian community fuming and demanding the show be taken off the air. Slightly hyperbolic there, Sky News. Just relax a little bit. Anyway, the project's response. During a live interview last night, our guest told a joke which we know was deeply offensive to many of you, in particular people of faith. We want to acknowledge the particular offence and hurt that caused our Muslim, which I find interesting, but especially our Christian viewers. Live TV is unpredictable, and when this happened in the last few moments of the show, it genuinely took us all by surprise. There wasn't a lot of time to react in any sort of considered way. We weren't expecting a comment like that to be made. We wouldn't normally broadcast it. We acknowledge the offence it caused. We are sorry. Now, before I get to my views for what they're worth, headline from Family Voice Australia, who I follow on a few socials, who I think are on the mark most of the time. They said, headline, "Tell Channel 10, axe the project over disgusting Jesus joke." Now, you can go back and find my comments that I've made regarding this on other sites and things like that, but no. We do not phone Channel 10. We do not contact Channel 10 via any means and demand that they pull this television show off the air. As a Christian man, we don't do that. Now I'll explain why. The joke. Kind of funny. I mean, I get it. You know, he's theology's off the mark, but I don't think that was his point. And it would be remiss of me to focus on the theology, seeing as that wasn't the point. I can see the humour or the funny side of that. Why? Because the joke is not personally offensive to me. It is an off-colour, off-the-cuff. He's probably rehearsed it, but the opportunity presented itself and he said it. It's probably a line out of his show. Now, comedy. This guy is a comedian. Comedians or comedy only works if there is a level of offence, be it self-deprecating, be it audience interaction, in which case the audience then must have enough humility to be a little self-deprecating, or it is making fun of any number of attributes of any number of groups of people. Comedy only works if it is offensive. Go find the most milquetoast, clean, family-friendly, Christian comedian that you can. Either one who operates in Christian circles, someone like Tim Hawkins, or someone who is openly Christian but operates in the mainstream like Milton Jones. And you will even see that the pair of them, with their clean language, their clean humour, it is still, to a degree, offensive. Milton Jones has got a great bit in a number of his sort of comedy roadshow shows that he does. Yeah, he assaults or offends cat owners. Anybody here own a cat? Your houses stink. It's offensive, mildly, but still. And then that joke continues. You're university students. Anyone here a university student? Your houses stink. It's a stereotype. It is playing upon a stereotype. And it is offensive. Mildly. Nonetheless, there is still a level of self-deprecation that must occur when you hear that joke. Yeah, I do own a cat. And you're probably right. That's your option. Or you go, oh my God, well, how dare he make that sort of cat to the most friendly, and or you do that. One or the other. It carries on. Anyone here an aromatherapist? Same joke. Okay? Clean. Yeah. Offensive. Yes. It has to be. Okay? Joe Rogan, I've mentioned his name a number of times. I mean, he's got the number one podcast in I don't know how many countries. So anyone who listens to podcasts knows the Joe Rogan Experience. I'm not a fan of his comedy. I'll listen to his podcast. He interviews interesting people. He's got interesting opinions and takes on things. But I don't like his comedy. Does that mean I don't want him to do comedy? No, he can do what he wants. It's his life. He can go on stage and write jokes and do whatever he wants to do to his audience, for his audience. Ricky Gervais. I don't like Ricky Gervais's comedy. People seem to really admire him in The Office and think he's a great actor. I don't, not so much, but that's my art is subjective. That's the beauty of it. He and Joe Rogan, numerous other people, are highly successful comedians. How did they become so successful? By writing jokes that were, to some level, offensive. I can appreciate their talent. I can appreciate the work that goes into their writing and the creative process. And then the ability to go on stage and for 2 hours do stand-up comedy. I mean, I'm a bit of a musician. I'm flat out remembering the words to one song, let alone 2 hours worth of songs. Safe to say, I won't be buying a ticket to a Rueben Kaye comedy show. Never heard of him before. The fact that he's self-proclaimed loud, politically active, brash and queer, and good for you, good for him, that doesn't interest me. So you know what I'm going to do? Not go to his show. I have that option. Believe it or not, I have that option. No friend of mine has offered me a ticket to a show of his. I don't even know if he's playing in Brisbane or the area that I'm in. I've no idea. No idea. I genuinely never heard of this man until this all blew up in media. So what do you do about this? Well, a few things. One, don't get offended, for a start. Okay, it's very easy to play the offence card. It's very easy to become a part of the offence Olympics. Okay? What does that do? If we as Christians, Family Voice Australia, and whoever else as a Christian organisation was calling for Channel 10 to axe this program and all the rest of it, if we sit here and make comments like that and suggestions like that, what are we doing? We are doing exactly what we have been jumping up and down about for at least, well, a long time here in Australia, particularly to do with religion or Christianity, but for the last best part of 3 years. We have been jumping up and down. We have been complaining about people not being able to speak freely, people not being able to have dissenting opinions, people not being able to have views that are different from the narrative that mainstream media and government at all levels says that we must have, as well as unelected bureaucratic chief health officers who think they run the country. We have sat here for the best part of 3 years and jumped up and down and said, why? Why can't we present an alternate viewpoint? And we have bemoaned the fact that we have been silenced, cancelled, whatever terminology you want to use. And along with all of the COVID rubbish that we haven't been able to jump up and down about, I saw something great the other day that said, not that I'm keeping score, but conspiracy theorists are up 42-0 at the moment, and I thought that's just about right. Did come from a lab in China, the vaccine doesn't work, masks don't work, all of this stuff that we knew from day one, that, oh, you far right, tinfoil hat, well, no. Can men get pregnant? Well, no, because that's ridiculous. But if you say that, what happens to you? Transphobe! So if we're going to grab the torches and the pitchforks, to quote Shrek, where's your torch and pitchforks? Whatever the line is. If we're to do that, and we're to pick it up and down Channel 10, wherever their head office is, in Sydney or in Melbourne or wherever it is, don't know, don't really care, to be honest. If we do that, and we demand that this show be taken off the air because of all of the offence it's caused, how are we any different? How? We jumped up and down when Israel Folau got sacked for paraphrasing the Bible. I note that he's still not able to play professional sport here in Australia. Thanks very much, Rugby Australia. Well done you. It's all well and good to have a major sponsor in Qantas whose CEO happens to be gay, and they've got really good business dealings and relationships with Emirates Airlines that are based out of a country that throw gay people off the roofs of buildings. That's okay, but we can't paraphrase the Bible because, oh gosh, it might be offensive to someone. What are we doing here? Tell Channel 10, axe the project over disgusting Jesus joke. A, the fact that you are claiming that it's a disgusting joke, whether you like it or not, that is a subjective point of view. I'm sure some Christians had a laugh. And 2, you start calling for the cancellation of shows, of people. You start calling for the suppression of speech. Guess what? It might just come back to bite you on the backside. See, we are called to be in the world, not of it. And incidentally, if I happen to get my second book published, which I would very much like to happen, not that I can afford self-publication because that's expensive. So any literary agents out there, hit me up to buy my first one. It's right there. I make that point abundantly clear in one of the chapters. I can't remember which one. The fact that we cannot stoop to their level. We cannot stoop to the level of calling for speech to be suppressed just because we don't like it. We do not live in a theocratic society. We are not governed by the laws, the rules, the ideology, the worldview of Christianity, especially not here in Australia. We have not been for some time. So we as Christians do not hold any moral high ground. We are not the arbiters of everything that can be put forth into the public square. And incidentally, I don't want to be. The whole premise of me starting this channel, thank you to everybody who watches on a regular basis and listens on a regular basis. I really do appreciate it. Growing slowly. But the whole point of this was to keep a Christian voice and a Christian perspective in the public square. If I need to be the voice that other people aren't willing to be or can't be for whatever reason, then I will be that voice. I will email politicians. I will email human rights commissions. I will email television networks if I need to. I will never call for the suppression of anybody else's speech. I will only ever call for the Christian voice to be heard as well. If I read the New Testament, I cannot find an example of where Jesus told someone not to speak. He often silenced people, but he silenced them because he gave them an answer that they could not refute, or he gave them a question that they could not answer. That is how this whole thing needs to work. You want to communicate? Fine. Don't suppress someone through force. Give them a question that they cannot respond to. They have no coherent answer to. Or give them an answer that they have no coherent ability to refute. Rueben Kaye, genuinely, best of luck to you. Hope your comedy shows go well. I don't like the lifestyle you promote. If you want my honest opinion, yeah. It, along with a number of other things, are sins. If you want a relationship with Jesus Christ, repent. Like I have to do, daily. Romans says, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. That's the way it is. I hold that to be true. You may not. Your choice. Channel 10, do what you want. Host who you want to host. Have on your shows whoever you want to have on your shows. I haven't watched the project in years. My opinion. Used to be alright. In my opinion, it's not. My opinion. It's subjective. You don't want to watch the project? Don't watch the project. But under no circumstances can we as Christians, in all good conscience, sit here and call for Channel 10 to axe, cancel, cease this show just because of this. If we do that, and we call for that, and we are successful, then we are no better than the people who burned cities down during Black Lives Matter protests. We're no better. We need to be better. We're called to be better. Someone wants to make a joke about Jesus. Go to your heart's content. Don't expect me to turn up and listen to your comedy show if you're loud, politically active, queer and brash. Best of luck to you. You want to repent? I'm here. Channel 10, do whatever you want. To the Christian community, if you don't like the project, don't watch it. Grow some thick skin and don't be quite as easily offended as all of these other morons who jump up and down about being misgendered. I'm offended that you said men can't get pregnant. Oh, please. We start getting offended at this, we are no better than them. And we need to be better than them. So I don't know about next week. I'm going to see how I go. A few things on. If I get one up, until next week. If I don't, until next fortnight. God bless.